Hey guys, I recently created a video discussing the dark empath, which is closely related to but not the same thing as the Dark Triad. What is that, you say? I'm so glad you asked. Let's get into it. Narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy, when occurring together, are often referred to as the Dark Triad. Narcissism is one we hear a lot about in media and popular culture. It originates from the Greek myth of Narcissus, a young man who fell in love with his own reflection. In psychology, narcissism is characterized by a grandiose sense of self-importance, a deep need for excessive attention and admiration, a lack of empathy, and often a preoccupation with fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love. So some key characteristics are grandiosity. So narcissistic individuals often have an inflated sense of self-importance and believe that they are very unique or very special. They may exaggerate their achievements and expect to be recognized as superior without any corresponding achievements. There's also a tendency to have a need for admiration. They have a constant need for attention and admiration from others. Their self-esteem is often highly sensitive and dependent on external validation. Entitlement. Narcissists often feel entitled to special treatment or special privileges. They may become impatient or angry when they do not receive what they believe they deserve. Additionally, a lack of empathy. A hallmark of narcissism is a lack of empathy or an inability to recognize or understand the needs of others. This often results in exploitative or manipulative behavior in relationships. Narcissists can be extremely arrogant and may come across as haughty, often dismissing or belittling others who they perceive as inferior or less competent than they perceive themselves to be. There's also a sensitivity to criticism. So despite their outward confidence, narcissists are often highly sensitive to criticism or perceived slights, which can lead to defensive or aggressive reactions. So there are some implications for behavior in relationships. Narcissists tend to have turbulent relationships because of their self-centeredness and their behavior. It can often alienate others. And they often seek relationships that enhance their self-image. And when others fail to provide the expected admiration or validation, narcissists may react with anger or withdrawal. Long-term relationships can be particularly challenging as their lack of empathy and tendency to exploit others often leads to conflict and relationship dissatisfaction. Machiavellianism. So the definition is named after a political philosopher, Niccolò Machiavelli, who wrote The Prince, which was a treatise advocating manipulation as a means for political success. And so it's very strategic and manipulative approach to interpersonal relationships and focus on self-interest over any kind of morality or ethics. Here's some key characteristics. Machiavellians tend to be very cynical and have a point of view of people that is inherently selfish and that they're deceitful, and manipulation is necessary as a tool for success. Another characteristic, strategic manipulation. They're skilled at manipulating others to achieve their own ends. This often involves using charm, deceit, and emotional manipulation to influence people and situations to their advantage. Emotional detachment as well. Machiavellians often display emotional attachment, allowing them to manipulate others without feeling guilt or remorse. There's also an ends justify the means kind of attitude, often being willing to engage in unethical or morally questionable behavior if it serves their long-term goals. So the actions are typically guided by self-interest rather than any moral or ethical code. Machiavellians are highly adaptable in social situations, often changing their behavior and presentations to fit their objectives and their long-term goals. Implications for behavior and relationships, right? Individuals high in Machiavellianism are often successful in environments that reward strategic thinking and manipulation, such as certain competitive businesses or political settings. However, as you can probably tell, their relationships may be characterized by lack of trust and genuine emotional connection, as their manipulation and that behavior can lead to distrust and conflict with others. Their focus on personal gain often comes at the expense of authentic relationships and ethical behavior. So 3, psychopathy is a personality disorder characterized by persistent antisocial behavior, impaired empathy and remorse, bold, disinhibited, egotistical traits. It's often assessed using tools like the Harris psychopathology checklist, which measures traits such as superficial charm, lack of guilt, and impulsivity. Some of the key characteristics might sound similar: lack of empathy and remorse. Psychopaths typically exhibit a profound lack of empathy for others and do not experience guilt or remorse for their actions in the same way others do. This can lead to harmful and reckless behavior without regard for the consequences to other people. Superficial charm, right? Psychopaths often display superficial charm and charisma, which they use to manipulate and deceive others. They can be quite persuasive and are often skilled at feigning emotions to achieve their goals. Impulsivity. Psychopaths often engage in impulsive and reckless behaviors without considering the consequences, and this impulsivity can manifest in a variety of ways, including risky sexual behavior, substance abuse, criminal activities, but it doesn't always happen that way. Psychopathy is associated with a range of antisocial behaviors, including deceitfulness, aggression, and propensity for violence. Psychopaths often violate social norms and laws, and their actions are frequently driven by self-interest and lack of regard for others. Shallow emotional experience. Psychopaths often have shallow emotional lives and often struggle to experience genuine emotions such as love, guilt, or fear. This lack of depth in their emotional experiences can make their behavior seem robotic or mechanical. Psychopaths can be highly destructive in their relationships and social environments due to their manipulative behavior, lack of empathy, and impulsivity. Their relationships are often characterized by exploitation and abuse, as they tend to view others as tools to be used for their own benefit. Psychopathy is also associated with higher rates of criminality, violence, particularly combined with other risk factors such as substance abuse or lack of social support. There are also some correlation, not necessarily causation, in research that suggests that early childhood experience can significantly influence the development of these personality traits. Factors such as childhood trauma, neglect, abuse, and inconsistent parenting can contribute to the development of traits associated with the Dark Triad. While it might not happen for everybody, narcissism might develop as a defense mechanism in response to a lack of parental validation or inconsistent caregiving, leading to an inflated sense of self to compensate for feelings of inadequacy or insecurity. Machiavellianism can be influenced by observing manipulative behavior in caregivers or experiencing environments where deceit and manipulation are necessary for survival or success. Psychopathy may have both genetic and environmental components, with early exposure to violence, neglect, and abuse potentially contributing to the development of antisocial behaviors and emotional detachment. So here are some tips for addressing Dark Triad traits. Again, this is not designed to be treatment, rather information as to what could be helpful. So if you're struggling with this, consider cognitive behavioral techniques to learn to recognize and challenge negative thinking patterns and behaviors. For instance, if you have narcissistic tendencies, CBT can help you become more aware of others' feelings and develop a level of empathy. You can also practice mindfulness. Mindfulness techniques can help you stay present and aware of your thoughts and emotions in the moment. And this awareness can help manage impulsive actions and reduce manipulative behaviors by allowing you to pause and think before you act instead of being impulsive. Work on understanding and managing your own emotions. Improving your emotional intelligence can lead to healthier, happier relationships and help you better navigate social situations. You also want to educate yourself about the impact that you're having on other people, learn about how your behaviors might affect others, and long-term consequences that they could have. Gaining insight into these effects can increase your self-awareness and motivate you to make positive changes. You can also build empathy. Engage in exercises that help you see things from other people's perspective, vantage point, or viewpoint, such as role-playing, perspective-taking activities. This practice can increase your understanding of others' experiences and reduce harmful behaviors. Another thing would be addressing past traumas. If your traits stem from early trauma or adverse experiences, consider therapies like eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, also known as EMDR, trauma-focused therapy. These approaches can help heal past wounds that may be influencing your current behavior. By understanding the nature of narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy, as well as their potential origins and impact on behavior, therapists can tailor their interventions to support individuals in developing healthier ways of interacting with the world and forming more positive, meaningful relationships. That was a lot of information. I know, but it's important to be able to identify patterns of behavior as you're being introspective or educating yourself. Subsequently, if you see these patterns and they are impacting your life, please reach out to a licensed therapist near you for personalized care. The goal for me is to be able to help you identify patterns and name them so that you have an understanding of the variance of expressions and personalities to find what is normative for you. And I'm going to say it because I always say it. While I am a licensed therapist, I might not be your licensed therapist. So please use this information as education and reach out to a therapist near you for more tailored and personalized care.